I suggest to start. Welcome everyone to the 6th community call dedicated to the Keeper Pool product. Our team is so excited today to demonstrate you the first end-to-end testnet demo to you, and this demo in testnet and eventually first release in mainnet will be available for you in for use in an early beta mode, meaning that we'll provide individual access to try this product. We are doing this to get the initial feedback, to make some modifications to design the product which is like suits your needs, and also before our contracts get audited. So yeah, it will be possible to get an early access. We are like individual modes. So if you would like to get this access, you can drop your email here in the chat or in Telegram group. And in a few days, we'll also share other forum where you can get access. Yeah. Great, I see new emails. Great. Yeah, and yeah, it will be great to hear your initial feedback, and yeah, to make some modifications to in the future. So I see newcomers here, and which is good, and also the community that follows us for like 6 calls in a row. Thank you guys. Thank you for your involvement. And so, considering that there are new people here, I'll make a quick overview what Keeper Pool is in the first place and why we are doing this. So basically, Keeper Pool is a non-custodial liquidity pool that profits from collateral liquidations of different DeFi protocols. And even more, it's an uncorrelated asset class that benefits both from market drops and high volatilities, because in this period there are more liquidations, which is good for a Keeper Pool. Yeah, and this mechanics makes this Keeper Pool as an uncorrelated asset class. And right now we're starting with MakerDAO liquidations, but eventually we will extend this functionality to DeFi, Compound, Open, and other protocols that include this collateral design in their architecture. And also right now we are starting deploying our own bidding strategy for auctions, but also eventually it will be possible for you to use your own strategy and maybe even your own infrastructure and join our pools to take liquidity and participate in auctions. If you, for example, if you would like to implement more aggressive strategy. Yeah, that's basic overview of the product. And yeah, why we are doing this, we started this initiative after events on 12th, 13th March, when the vulnerability of MakerDAO came out. And yes, this product also acts as a backstop, so to prevent these situations that occurred in the past. And why also we're doing these community calls, it's very important for us to get the initial feedback so we can improve our products, receiving the continuous and ongoing feedback from the community. And today we will show our first MVP version. So like, it will be great to hear your general feedback, and then if you're really would like to be involved, it would be great to have in person like MVP usage to hear more detailed feedback. That will be really great, and we will highly appreciate this. And who is behind this idea? Behind this idea is Atomica team, and we are developing different risk transfer and risk mitigation products. And yeah, and we started this product additionally. Yeah, this is the general overview, and like before we start, also it would be interesting to to discuss what like general opinion for the recent events that we had with DeFi hack. What do you think, guys? Was it like a good approach to return assets from hacker? And what do you think? Because there is some different thoughts in the community about it. What do you think? Like, interesting to hear, and then we can start with our demo.
I think that what's the lesson learned is to consider the risks that are derived from various combinations of building blocks. Open finance is driven by composability, right? And the risks that result from making, 20 different derivations or combinations out of those composable building blocks. I think this is an area to be studied. I don't think there is a decent framework or approach to tackle those risks. So that's what was interesting about this hack for me.
Got it. Okay, guys, if there is no other opinions, it was just a quick off top. We are ready to demonstrate our first end-to-end demo. So this demo will be shown by our engineer Kostya. Kostya, would you like to share us?
Yeah, hello everybody. So I'll share my screen. Yes. So last week we showed smart contracts, and now we can show how it works from an end user perspective. So we have this website, and here we have a list of pools, and currently we're working on this one. So to participate in the pool, user needs to add liquidity. So the first transaction to approve DAI. Okay, so let's fund it with some amount. So at the beginning we have rate 1 to 1. So I will receive 1,000 tokens. Yeah, so now we have 1,000 DAI in this pool. And my share is 100% because I'm only one participant here. So now we can participate in auctions. So let's create CDP. So I'm on colon. Oh, sorry. Yes, my MetaMask is connected. Let's create CDP with 1 ETH, and current price is 150 DAI per ETH. So we can generate, let's say 80. So our vault is created, and currently it's safe. But what if the price changes? So let's make a small dump. So I showed before, we have a list of scripts to do different actions. So now I want to change the price in Maker ecosystem to 100 DAI per ETH. So it should change. So our price was this one. Yeah, and now we have new price. So as you can see, now this vault is unsafe. And now our bot, let's take a look at, so we have Keeper bot running in the background, and it sends messages to the Telegram chat. So let's wait when the bot kicks this wall to the auction. So now you can see that bot kicked this bolt to the auction, and new auction is was created, number 6. The first bid is 0 because this is how it works. The first bid is 0. Then we made a new bid for this auction. Our bid is 28 DAI for this slot, and this lot is 1 ETH. As I showed before, we deployed our own Maker contracts, and we set auction duration to 3 minutes. So this auction will end in 2 minutes. So if nobody outbid this auction, we will win it, and then sell the collateral on Uniswap. So while we're waiting for this auction, I will show action some so how we set settings on this system. So we have DAO on Aragon, and I can connect to our strategy has some parameters. The most important one is target return. We needed to calculate the amount for 10th and then phases. So, for example, we want to change it. So new voting is created. Yeah, here is voting for this parameter, and as you can see, we have our bot take this collateral from the auction, and this contract, this is Uniswap contract. So as you can see, we sell it for 105 DAI. So we sell 1 ETH for this and get this amount of DAI. And now we should have it in the pool. So sorry, I changed the network. Hold on. My account is this one. So here is the auction. We paid for it 28 DAI. So we get this collateral with this discount rate. So now we have more DAI in the pool. And let's back to Aragon. Yeah. So we have list of accounts who can vote. Now we have 3 voters. I will vote for this. So it should update. Yeah. And also I need to vote from another account. Yeah, so now this voting passed because we have two or three votes. So now we can change target return to this value.
Konstantin, quick question. Which parameters are expected to be set and hard-coded, like circuit breakers, and which parameters will be subject to voting? And which parameters will be at the discretion of the admin until the admin key is removed?
Okay, so currently we have two parameters. First one, this is target return, and the next one is maximum discount. Mm-hmm. Also, we can set back. Back is minimal bit increase. Currently, we use this parameter from Maker, but we could increase it to some value. For example, in Maker, we have 3%, but we can update it to some other value if you need it. Mm-hmm. So currently we have these parameters. So this is how target return was updated.
Okay, and the governance that this Aragon
hang on, let me check.
Demonstrated, is it then triggers the update redeployment of smart contracts, or how exactly is it instrumented after vote has completed, and let's say the new target return is X? What's the instrumentation steps?
Okay. At this stage, we have separate DAO. It's separated from the pool. Mm-hmm. So in the next phase, we'll automate this. So mm-hmm. On Aragon, we can vote for execution of some function. So we have special setter in the contract set target return, and we can create a voting for execution of this function. So execution will be allowed only to Aragon DAO. Mm-hmm. So after vote has passed, it will change target return. So this is the next step of integration.
Okay, understood. Understood. Okay. And let's say in the in this demo, in this, how does it work? Either a place where, let's say, for those participants in this early beta who want to understand why target return, what is this, and like where could they read? Can they get the answers to these questions about the inner workings from this demo flow?
I can. Mm-hmm. I can answer this question. Yeah, we will provide all these answers in like FAQ and other documentation section at the Gitbook. Right now it's not fully completed, but we will update it as soon as we mm-hmm. We will update it like day to day and
Okay.
provide more and more information. Yeah, but surely it will be available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also we have code on the GitHub. So if you like, you can take a look on it, and if you have questions, so
Okay.
please ask in Telegram.
Okay. Question about the smart contract stability, or well, the question is, are smart contracts more or less stable? Majority of them won't change over the next week or two, or will they? Basically, we need to time the request for peer reviews and audit of the code, and because these conversations may take time, and because they all require a good combination of relatively stable code base before we kind of freeze it in the mainnet release, right? The one that will be audited. And it also requires a little a good set of documentation that together could make the code more auditable, right? When do you think is the right time for that to call that moment? Would it be now? Would it be 2 weeks from now?
Okay, I'm not sure about now, because we currently are heavily test all this code, so we are in a testing phase.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at least this week we need to stabilize the system.
Okay, got it. Does anyone have any questions on the functionality? Anybody is interested in trying it out in a hand-holding environment?
Ed, so this is Mike. I have a quick question. I see DAI here, but where's the ETH? Where's the gas in terms of paying for the transactions being coming from?
Okay, so this pool operates with DAI. So pool participants join the pool with DAI. So we have only DAI. We have a separate contract, keeper adapter. This contract works with maker ecosystem. And if it win auction, it takes the collateral and sells it. Currently we use Uniswap, so it sells it on Uniswap. So we don't have ETH in here. The only when we get this collateral, we sell it in the same transaction on Uniswap. And regarding gas costs, so yes, our bot sends transactions, so it spends gas. Currently, we're working on how to compensate these gas costs. So the idea is we can estimate it at runtime, which amount of gas our bot send. And we have two options. One option, we can take this amount from the collateral and pay back it to bot. And the second option, we can have special pool allocated from the main pool for this bot or for keepers who sends this transaction. So how it works: keeper sends transaction, and in return it will get ETH for the gas. This is the idea.
Great, thank you.
Question maybe.
One
Sure,
quick
go.
question from my end. The minimum bid or minimum max discount, I guess, the 30%. I think so. For the current bid, it went through at 70. I guess a 70% discount. So I think that's maybe one thing we would just need to change. I think the idea with having the that 30% maximum discount was to make it so that we, make sure that we never got really more than 30% return, which was specifically geared for that kind of that backstop angle, so that we make sure that in this situation, people would be getting, the maker system would be left under that DAI would be left under collateralized.
Yeah. So as you can see here, we have 100% discount rate.
Yeah.
Why? If we kick this collateral to the auction and nobody bids it, we can take it with zero price. So, but again, as you said, as a backstop, we at least make a first price. We have minimum bid for the collateral.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out how the setting was set at 30%, and then the discount here was at about 71%.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is.
Yeah. Max discount. Okay. So how it works? If somebody, this is the first step. If somebody outbid it, we will do the next step, but using this this parameter. So this is limitation for what amount we can spend for this bid. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think the point I'm trying to say is I think for a 30% max discount, I would expect the return to have been 30% instead of 70%.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So from your question is that our first bid should be 70%. Yes.
Yeah, 70% of the current price. So I don't know if it's just we need to do like a 1 minus somewhere.
Okay, good point. So we will check.
Cool. Otherwise, yeah, that looks great, and the Telegram bot is pretty cool. That'd be nice, a neat feature to have. People can kind of track and see what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Question, maybe you can also show like the withdrawal flow, so like to make the demo complete fully.
Withdraw?
Yeah.
So currently I see this pool is quite profitable, so I don't want to withdraw my money. I want to earn money.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was the other question I had. So the it looked like was your pool share 100% before the bid?
Could you repeat, please?
So you had all this account had all of the tokens for that pool, correct?
Yes, but let's use another account.
It looked like after the bid was won, your pool share dropped to like 93%. So I guess my question is, was that just a feature of the how it's being visualized? Because your pool share should still be 100%. Or
I can explain. During Kostya was showing the demo, I deposited 16 dice, so I have right now my pool share is 3%. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and it just happened to be the same amount. So I was concerned that possibly the winnings were minting new tokens. So okay, that makes sense.
So I withdrawed half of my tokens and get it back on my balance. Not this one. Yeah.
Great.
Yes, thank you, Chris. This is an amazing milestone for all of us to reach. Finally, we waited to this day to see the system. Can't wait to try it out. Can either way for us to have like a way to go through the process of trying it out, and if I understand correctly, this is the testnet, and on Cohen because you use for simulation purposes a standalone deployment of MCD.
Yes.
You are minting DAI tokens that are native to that deployment. So could you make it easy for those of us who will go through this testnet version to obtain those tokens, so we don't have to ask you in chat
okay.
every time, like a faucet or a button, like give me DAI tokens from this test network. If you can add this button to the UI, that would be nice.
Yeah, okay. So as it was said, use our own maker deployment because we want to update some values. For example, we want to set auction duration to 3 minutes. We want to be able to update prices. So this is the only reason why I use this version. So to provide this DAI, we can have a facet. So I can generate some amount. So now see I have quite a lot of DAI. So yeah.
Okay, maybe somewhere on this in this UI, if it's a testnet version, like get some DAI and a button to get it right before you click
definitely not a problem.
to the pool. All right, great, excellent.
Yeah, and I can add to how you can try in testnet and eventually in, like, I guess 2 weeks in mainnet. As I mentioned it before, we are going to provide like the access individually, and if you would like to try it, we will provide the further instruction like pretty soon. And for a testnet demo, it's like in a few days, and you already can use it. And yeah, it would be great to have in person usage. So it would be great to hear your feedback. And otherwise, if like you would like to do it like standalone, yeah, if we will add this button. If no, we will use this test DAI and provide like the exact instruction how you can like access this application and try this out. And it would be really great to hear the feedback. Yeah, that's pretty the flow, and we will share all the instruction and further steps in Telegram. Yeah, that's the addition to the answer you guys discussed. So right now, yeah, thank you, Costa. It looks really great. Even considering the time frames, it's really great work. And we will add other features in the future, and it will become more cooler. But this is like the initial version. We can go to the mainnet and start performing liquidations. So right now, it would be great to hear some like general feedback, any ideas, comments, any feedback will really highly appreciable. So if there are some comments, go ahead, guys. Would like to hear.
My question would be, what would it take approximately for someone to add a new market like DYDX, for example, and other any problems that could prevent from, let's say, an independent development of such keeper using, let's say, if someone builds an adapter, why it wouldn't work if an adapter is created? What are the things that are bottlenecks from this new adapter to be active and have a second pool working? Especially, I'm talking about pools like DYDX liquidation, where an upward direction of the market, right? Not when things go bad, but when things go very good, some people shorts get liquidated, right? So what does it take approximately? Is it a day of work? Is it 5 days of work? And what may be the reasons for the pools to not accept this new adapter if one was developed, and there might be another piece of work to make it actually available?
First of all, the general idea is to have a general pool and to have ability to add different adapters. So our first adapter is MakerDAO Keeper adapter. So we can, in order to create new adapter, we need to create this adapter contract and implement required logic to operate with, for example, DYDX. And then we can add it to the pool. In the pool, we have allowances for keepers. So we can set for example, we have 2 keepers, one keeper for MakerDAO and one keeper for DYDX. So we can set allowances them, for example, for the first one 50% and 50% for the second one. So they can allocate some portion from the pool. This is done. So to create a new adapter, we need to implement new contract, and the required time is depend on it depends on the complexity of this adapter. So maybe 1 week. It's a hard question to answer without looking at requirements. So first we need to investigate DYDX ecosystem, what functions we need to, what features we need in this adapter to operate with this system. But now,
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Kostya, go ahead.
But now the system created with the idea that we need to have ability to add new adapters, new keepers at runtime. So we can start the pool and then add different adapters.
Okay.
Yeah, and additional to that, yeah, I agree with Kostas that it's our open question regarding the IDX and other protocols, and it will be possible in the future, like in both ways, or we will add, or we also said that it will be possible for anyone external to use our protocol to bootstrap own strategy and provide opportunity to other people to provide capital. So this keeper can realize own strategy. So if if anyone has relevant experience with DYDX liquidations, it would be great to get this knowledge, to hear any thoughts, ideas. So if there's relevant experience in this call, it would be great to hear. Yeah. And any other maybe comments, feedbacks about the demo? Any ideas right now?
Yeah, and also regarding how to what the ways how to create your own keeper. So you have two ways. First one is create a new pool. So have special contract fabric to deploy your own pool, and you can create your own keeper adapter and add it to your pool, or propose your adapter so we can connect it to the pool. Two ways.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, creating your own pool or joining existing pool, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Well, if there are two adapters on one
an
pool,
interesting question would be
first come, first serve for capital.
Sorry, what about capital?
I was saying if there's two adapters on one pool, is the allocation of capital first come, first serve?
Yeah, so we have allowances here. So we can set 100% allowance for each keeper. That means that each keeper can allocate the whole amount of the pool. So who will be the first? This keeper will allocate his part. Or we can set the different percentage. For example, 50% for this keeper, 50% for this keeper.
Yeah, but you can allocate. You could do 60% to both, or 70% to both, and then it would be first come, first serve if they go over 50. But there would always be some capital left for the other module.
Yes.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
It's configurable.
Makes sense.
Let me add that these parameters are specified and approved by DAO.
Great.
Is the allocation portion is going to be decided by the voting process? Or is it hard-coded?
Yeah, sure. It's one of the pool parameters, and it's set through the DAO voting. And for the current stage, we have the administrator role, and Konstantin demonstrated how administrator checks the DAO decisions and then implements them through calling the methods of the smart contract, the setter methods of the smart contract. So now we have, I would say, not fully decentralized DAO. There is a centralized part, but in the next iteration, after the first release, we are going to implement the fully automated DAO voting, when the voting decision will actually call the methods in the smart contracts, so we don't need the administrator role in the second release.
Okay, thank you. One more question. As you recently seen, I mean, recent hacks. I have the following view of the situation. When the new projects arise, I would suggest some time for them to be audited by the market itself, to be included in the keeper pool. My point is there should be some risk strategy not to include the new projects in the keeper pool.
Do you mean a new keepers? Yeah.
No, not the keepers. For example, on the market, there are several main players. The main one is MakerDAO. The second one is Compound. The next one is Set Tokens. Then what else?
Got it.
DYDX.
Yeah.
DYDX, yeah. And as I see the process of you adding them one by one into the keeper pool, and allocating for one of them 70% of the share. Just imagine the situation: this new project, not mature enough, gets hacked, and all funds are wrecked.
Yeah, that completely makes sense, and that's why we are considered that the joining pool by new keeper, new platform, new adapter is the process that should be approved by DAO. So the DAO members will vote for adding a new platform to our pool. And from architectural point of view, it's a new smart contract keeper adapter, which gets loans. As Konstantin said, it could be from, let's say, 1 to 100%. So the DAO considers the proposal to add new keeper adapter, for example, for Compound. And the DAO considers the allowance for this keeper adapter. And if DAO considers that the risk of adding this platform is pretty high, or the code of keeper adapter is not ready, not mature enough to add into this ecosystem, of course, the proposal will be rejected and the new keeper adapter can join the pool. That's how we see the process right now, yeah. But yeah.
Is there a risk? I'm not a programmer, not a very good programmer here. Is there a risk of sending funds from the main pool to a new contract, smart contract, let's say for a new exchange or service, DeFi service? Who decides, which contract decides to send the funds to this adapter? Who decides?
Each contract who can take the funds from the liquidity pool has allowance for this pool.
Allowance?
Yeah, the allowance is set by DAO voting. So it could be percentage of.
No, I mean the other thing. Is there the possibility of the hack of vulnerability in this new adapter contract to suck out all the funds from the main pool? This is what I'm talking about.
So you're talking about that the adapter can drain out the liquidity pool.
Yes.
Yeah, that's possible if the keeper adapter has this intent, or has vulnerability in the smart contract code. So it means that every new keeper adapter can join the pool, not only after DAO voting, and even the DAO won't consider the proposals without the technical audit.
So the answer is that a risk of, if we look at this risk, if I understand correctly, Andrew, is the risk that new adapters are added, but they are modified, right? And
they cannot be modified because they are smart contracts, they deployed, and the only this version of the contract can.
No, I'm not talking about the modification of the smart contract. I'm talking about a possible loophole in the contract, which might be hacker might find secretly and utilize it, exploit it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I guess
Okay.
I guess our question, one way to frame it would be for the. I think anytime we're bringing on a new adapter, it's going to be, especially if it's like a newer protocol, it would probably be allocated a smaller portion of the pool. So the pool per, the allocation it might get could be, if there's 6 different modules on one pool, maybe it only gets 10%. I guess one question I would have is the way that parameter is set. Is that outside of the module contract, in that the module contract at most, if it was hacked, could steal up to 10%, or is there potential, I guess maybe the framing of the question is, this is where new code's going to maybe get regularly introduced into the system. Is there added risk there, and is it mitigated by that?
So the max cap is 10%, if you said it.
Yeah, so I think that lives in that's like in the pool balancer contract. So that's outside of any new code that would be added. So as I understand it, that pool is only allowed to extract up to that amount. So we could always have it be 5, 10% or something of the pool to limit that risk if we did want to be more open with bringing new protocols on.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and actually, good question. I think we need to have some emergency procedures, at least to stop the system and only allow participants to withdraw their assets.
Yeah, guys, I would also suggest you make some overall risk overseeing committee or someone experienced, because have you seen what happened to the futures oil yesterday? It was the first time in the history when the futures became negative. Like yesterday it closed at minus $38. I just imagine, yeah, if we were talking with my team about this black swan, and I just imagined the situation when we tried to sell puts on the oil futures, and we would our risk strategy would suggest that the maximum risk is 0. So if we sold puts with the strike 2, our loss could be just $2 per, not $2, 2 points. But when the oil came lower at 0, and then it became negative, and all that way down, well, anything could happen. And anything could happen to the exchange, because this is not a mature market. The oil flash crash happened to quite mature markets, but DeFi is very young, and anything could happen. And I would suggest to make you some safe switch. If anything goes wrong, if somebody sees anything looming on the horizon, something very bad, there should be some button to stop the system.
Yeah, actually, we are considering some like red button. and limitation for the pool, but we're still thinking about the permissionless pool, and probably this button will be in the code of the smart contract and the limitations. And here we need to think how to specify them exactly. Because the having administrator keys, it's also a big risk, probably the bigger.
Yes.
Bigger one.
There should be a compromise here, because I see you as a big whale swimming in a very large pool full of sharks, and these sharks are other market participants and the outside factors. Outside risk factors like systematic risks from the market itself. You're not a pure decentralized protocol like some other blockchain. You're a decentralized market maker. And if you make these questions to be decided, to be voted upon by other members, it could take so much time that it would make no sense. If the situation changes rapidly and you have some week to vote on the decision, it doesn't make any sense. It should be done very quickly, in a matter of minutes, not hours, even minutes.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, we are not in the vacuum, so we need to have this.
I've seen everything in the market. I've seen like the gold flash crash in 2013. I've seen when the gas prices, when James Kadir got bankrupt and lost half a billion dollars, other clients' dollars, and he was trading for 8 years successfully. He was selling out of the market options, and until he became very big to absorb his liquidity by the market. And you are the same here. So there should be very quick solutions in the case of emergency. And if you don't think about them right now in advance, you can hard code the contract, and then later you won't be able to change it.
Yeah, that's the nature of blockchain.
Yeah, I agree that
twice.
This is a very important question. So, for example, we can have separate contract, emergency contract, and our bot could monitor all transactions, and in case of suspicious transactions, it could send transaction and rapidly move all the funds to the separate contract and stop the system. So, for example, we can operate this way. So, if we see if we see some suspicious transaction, we immediately stop everything and move all the DAI to separate contract, which could be super simple contract. And from this contract, participants could only withdraw and nothing else.
Yeah, that's probably what we need. Thank you, Andrew. Actually, we definitely will add this functionality to our backlog.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the community side you'd like to ask? Okay, if there is no any other question, I guess we can wrap up. It was really excited for us to share. Thank you guys for your time and your involvement, and that I see like desire to participate in this demo. We'll definitely share all the instructions and details pretty soon.
Great. Thanks, Vadim. And thanks everyone else for hopping on.
Sorry guys, my phone, the battery dropped down, so I switched the device. Yep. So yeah, as I said, we'll share all the details how to use the demo of Keeper Pool pretty soon in the chat. So stay updated. Thank you.